Good evening everyone, I hope you're well. I'll just give it 30 seconds in case anybody does want to jump on live. Really excited to be sharing my story with you tonight. Okay, so welcome. Good evening. I am wary that my Wi-Fi is a little bit wobbly, so if for any reason I do get thrown off, I've got a fantastic video I can share with you of my journey. But good evening everyone. My name is Michelle Vodden and I am an independent consultant and regional vice president with Arbon International, and thank you so much Melanie to inviting me on tonight. Basically just to share with you my experience, because I've been building my business of Arbon for 5 years now and it's absolutely flown by, and lots of other amazing things have happened in my life in that time scale. So I just thought it'd be really nice as a very busy mum to be able to share with you how I've made this business work, my experiences, what I was doing before, because it just might be that one person watching this relates to it and I can just help you make that informed decision whether Arbon is for you or not. So prior to Arbon, so going back, so I'm 35 years old now, and before Arbon I studied dance. That's the only thing I was ever passionate about. Moved to London to be a dancer, started doing a bit of choreography, absolutely loved that. Did that till I was about 25, 26, and then came back up to East Yorkshire, if you haven't already noticed the accent. I'm a Yorkshire girl. So I returned to my roots and I soon realised that there wasn't the opportunities in the north that obviously there are in London. So I saw a bit of a niche there in the market and I set up a dance model and events agency. And I did that for 9 years and you know, I loved it. Pre-children, it was amazing. I did event management, I used to do some of the jobs myself and I would find promo girls work. So I had a little taste of what a residual passive income is from running that agency. But as time went on, it became very stressful, you know, court cases with companies, chasing money, and it just became a little bit too much for me. And I started to suffer with quite bad anxiety and I could have panic attacks just going out to the shops and walking down the street. And I felt like something had to change. So the only thing I thought I could do was go back to university and do a PGCE to be a secondary school teacher and college dance teacher. And I did that. And this was quite soon before I heard about Arbon. So I did that, went into teaching in schools, freelance, and again, I felt really privileged that what I was doing was something I was passionate about. I love inspiring people. I love seeing people make progress in what they're doing. So I felt like I was, you know, doing my dream job and the agency just ticked away alongside. And then something happened in my life, and if there's any parents on here, like, I'd love to hear, you know, whose mum's on the call. And I fell pregnant with my first child, Alexander, and I went into work and I remember it clear as day, sitting in the staff room with my bump and chatting to the other mums that were teachers, and they were saying about the cost of childcare. You know, they have to get up so early in the morning, drop the kids off, drive to work for 45 minutes, pick them up, they've had their tea, literally get home, put them in bed and do it all again the next day. And I sat there and I knew in that instant I was not doing that. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that after my child was born, I was not going to go back to teaching. For me, it's a personal preference, but I didn't want to be going and teaching other people's teenagers while my child was in childcare. So luckily, like fate, when my son was coming up to 1 year old, so I'd had some time off, I got a message on Facebook. So some of you may have had the same experience, and it was a friend of mine who I'd taught with, and I also valued her as a businesswoman because she owned 2 businesses as well, and she invited me for a coffee to hear about an opportunity. She didn't tell me anything else, which was great, so I went really open-minded and just thought it'll be great to catch up with her, you know, whatever it is she's going to tell me about. And I sat there 5 years ago and she shared the Arbon opportunity with me, and to be honest, at first, I was kind of sat back in my chair thinking, why on earth would she think I'd be any good at this? I don't know anything about the industry. I know nothing about products. And I was quite, although I danced and I taught, I was quite shy speaking to strangers. It was out of my comfort zone. But when she started to talk about the business model, something kind of lit up inside me, and I think it was really because of the journey I'd been on before. And she said to me, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, will you be where you want to be in 5 years? And it's amazing now to be 5 years on and be looking back. But I knew that I wanted to have more children, and I have 3 children now, all under 6. And I just knew I couldn't keep doing what I was doing, but I just couldn't see anything else until Arbonne was put in front of me. And it answered all the questions to all the problems and all the worries that I had, but it was just wrapped up in something totally different to anything I ever saw myself doing. So if you feel that way, you know, most of us come into this never imagining we'd be an Arbonne consultant in our lives. So I heard the business model, I heard about the residual income, the willable asset as an area manager, and obviously as a parent, that just seemed amazing because no job is going to pay generations and generations of your family. I knew that having future children, I wouldn't have to worry about maternity pay, the cost of childcare. So I have not had to pay childcare since starting Arbonne, because I really went for it when I started, because I wanted to replace those incomes and be able to stay at home with my son. And I've had 2 children since then, in the process of building my business to the 3rd of the 4 levels. So you can do it if you're a busy mum, and there's lots of ways to do it, obviously with the joys of social media as well. So I worked it hard, but it was totally worth it. So my kind of journey from there, I started my business probably about a week or so after hearing it. I spoke to my fiance, who didn't really understand what I was trying to explain to him, and he didn't quite grasp the opportunity. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for this anyway. What have I got to lose? And that's one of the biggest things when you hear about Arbonne. It's weighing up why you would do it. And for me, it was because I wanted to stay at home, but also because I've always been very driven. So if anyone relates to this and has become a parent, you kind of have 2 parts to your life, don't you? So I was a very driven person before having kids. I had massive dreams for my future and what my lifestyle would look like, and traveling. And then when I fell pregnant, I realised that what I was doing was not going to fit, and that I could either have one or the other. I could either be a fully present parent and just love being a mum, or I could be successful in what I was doing as a career, but something was going to have to give. And Arbonne, I just saw I can do both. I can have absolutely the best of both with this business, and that's been the biggest gift of it. You know, most of the people that I maybe watch this that are consultants, they'll have met my children, because, you know, I bring them along to Vegas and training, so it's such a family business. So I started my business, and it was about 11 months into my business I became an area manager, which is the 2nd level. So you're looking at around 800 starting at that level a month. And when you put that against the cost of not having to pay childcare anymore, for a lot of people that is a big deal. And also the fact that business was willable meant so much to me, that I knew that if anything happened to me, that there was something that I was leaving as a legacy for my children as time went on. And then to go to region level, it was actually 4 years in, 2 little babies in between there. And it wasn't always easy. So if you're a parent and you're building the business, yeah, there's times when you're going to go out and, you know, maybe do tea and then pop out and do a launch or something. But to me, I just saw this as a 5-year plan, and I always had that longer vision in my mind of what I could achieve for the family with this business. And to bring my husband out of work is my next goal as well, so he can be a present parent and start following his dreams and, you know, set up his own business. So for me, it was a case of, okay, I can either do this and make this work and just copy those that are already successful. And I loved, after having a traditional business, that with Arbonne, I didn't have to think about how things work, because all the systems are in place. Arbonne are taking care of the order delivery, all the marketing, that's all done for us. I just thought, I've just got to bring some drive, some passion, and just stop watching TV on a night and actually start doing something with my business. And it's paid off big time, because 4 years in, we became a region, which is the Mercedes level. And yeah, that was just quite life-changing. And that happened 10 days before my 3rd baby was born. So this business, it fits around anything. If you're working full time, if you've got children, you can make it work. It's just being smart with your time. Even if to start with, it's like a focused half an hour a day, you can 100% make this work. So kind of moving on, what it's done for me is confidence wise, the personal development side of this business is out of this world. So I'll tell you a little story. When I started my business, I was so scared of speaking to new people, and it took me a long time to ever approach someone new. And it's funny now because about 90% of my team are now people I didn't know before Arbonne, but it was a big scary thing for me, and I had to get over that, and I know a lot of people can relate to that. So if you're worried about confidence, like, this business will bring you confidence. I will happily and volunteer to stand up and speak in front of hundreds of people now. And when I think 5 years ago, just the thought of that would have brought on a panic attack. Not even being asked to do it, but just thinking about it. There was times when I couldn't even walk into my town because my anxiety was that big. So the key things that stop people starting this business often are, time, money, maybe not knowing enough people, and confidence. But for me, what I've seen, like, in myself and in my team, and what they've done is they're the reasons to do it. Because if you've not got time, that time's just not going to come from anywhere. We've got to make a change before anything's going to change, and just changing something you do on a daily basis will bring bigger results in the end. So for me, I knew that I was not going to keep running a traditional events agency and be out till 2-3 in the morning with a baby at home and going to work in a school 4 days a week. And when I started my business, my baby was young as well, and I was still event planning and I was still teaching, and I just thought there's going to be some short-term sacrifices, but when I come out the other side, my life's going to be my own, and I'm going to choose how I spend my days, and I choose to spend every day with my children, and that's a reality now, and it can be for anybody watching this as well, whether you're a parent or not. If you're not a parent, you can go out and do what you want during the day, build your business, go to the gym, go do some charity work. It's totally up to you. So life now is basically me with my 9-month-old little baby boy, and my daughter is 2.5, and I spend my days with them. So I'm a fully present parent. I do the school run every day. We get up, we have breakfast together, we come home, we play, they nap, I'll do some focused business time, and then a lot of the work I will do on a night like this. I've put my kids to bed, we've had an evening meal together, and then I'll do my work, and it's so much better than watching TV when you think about what you can create with this. So, and the biggest thing is it's available to anybody. So if you're worrying about time, like, we really do help and coach people to find the time as well. People often don't realise that there is a lot of spare time in the pockets of the day. It's just using it and finding it, but we coach people on that. Money as well. For me, probably about 6 months before I've heard about Arbonne, I was on maternity and I was self-employed, so I was on statutory maternity pay, which is not a lot at all for a family. And my husband had a full-time job. He worked away Monday to Friday, and he actually unexpectedly was out of work. And suddenly we'd gone from 2 good incomes to my statutory maternity pay, and it was not a nice place to be in at all. We were age 30, we had to ring parents, they were bringing us food, and my son's first Christmas, we could buy him one little present. So I do actually thank that position now, because that's what drove me to make a difference. Because when I sat down in front of the Arbonne opportunity, and I had the potential, and I knew it was 100% effort based, and that if it was going to work, it was going to be down to me, I just thought, I'm not going to let us be in that situation again, and I've been offered something here that can make that a reality. So when I got asked that question, what would you do if your primary source of income was to be taken away at midnight tonight? I'd been there, we'd been there as a family, not going back there, and that really made me get to work. The other thing I would say really with Arbonne is it's just about following your gut. And the first thing that made me really realise I wanted to do this was why I was going to do it. So for you, if you are in this group because you're considering Arbonne, what is your drive? Do you love your career? So you would not want to leave your career, and that's fine. You can go right to the top with a full-time career. But is there something else you want to do? Does your partner enjoy working? Maybe it would be to retire them, or to make your parents more comfortable. Maybe so that you can fund your children going to private school. A lot of people come into my business and it's even nothing to do with the money. They do it for the confidence, the personal growth, and the friendship. So if you feel like you don't know that many people now, don't worry about that, because you learn the skills to meet new people, but you will meet absolute best friends for life in the process. And I have just got, you know, if you went on my Facebook, and you'll just see how much fun we have in the company. These are now my best friends, and like I said, about 90% of them before I just didn't know before Arbonne. So I feel so grateful that they've all come into my life, and Arbonne really does attract a high caliber of people. So people that are very honest, integral, hardworking, positive. So it's such a nice environment to be around as well. So I don't know if any of the guests have got any questions, like feel free to pop them below. But I just wanted to give you a really quick overview of my journey so far, and that, yeah, really it is just 100% up to you, but definitely follow your gut. Because when I heard about Arbonne and I spoke to those close to me, so my close family and partner, because I did a terrible job of explaining it, and I really should have got my sponsor to do that for me, so take that as some advice. They didn't quite understand what I was doing, and they were quite negative about it, but my gut feeling was, you've got to go for this, because what else is going to give you the lifestyle you want? You know, my husband is an amazing tradesman, but he will always be capped on an hourly wage. And so if our life was going to change dramatically, it was not going to come from his job, it was going to come from Arbonne. And to know that I had the power to do that for all of us was incredible. But the biggest thing is you can then pass that on to other people. And that's when this business becomes really amazing, because it's really lovely when you start making that additional income yourself, and when it starts to become a residual income because you're also growing a team, that's amazing. But when you start seeing your team, even if they're just bringing in an extra £200 into their family a month, or thousands, whatever that is, that's really great to know that that's happened because you were really brave, you had some courage, you did something you never saw yourself doing or thought you could do, but you did it anyway, and you shared it with people, and now it's making a difference to their life. And that's just not even consultants, there's the clients as well. I've got clients doing the 30 days healthy living that are messaging me every day about feeling great, they're not having cravings, they've lost weight, they've got more energy with the kids, and that just makes my day. And people with their skin, you're helping people, you know, inside and out, health, skin, finances, lifestyle. We've got absolutely everything covered. So if you are a parent maybe and you're thinking about this business and how you can work it around kids, I would just say go for it, especially if they're young, because imagine their lifestyle, you know, down the line because of what you're building now. And obviously I'm here to give advice to parents on how I make it work. But when I first started my business, I did a lot of coffee meetings, popped out on an evening, had a glass of wine and met people. I still do that now, but I also do quite a lot online. I'll do private groups where I go live and share the opportunity because it works so well with a family. But I do love that face-to-face interaction as well. So thank you so much for jumping on tonight. I will actually share I've got a 10-minute video which is a little bit about my story but also about the opportunity as well. And it goes into the industry as well. So I'll share that as well tonight if you are kind of just sat there thinking, do you know what, something in my gut is telling me to do this, but there's something that's holding you back. Biggest advice is go to the person that shared this with you and please just tell them what's holding you back, and they can try and help you make that right decision whether it is for you or not. So have a wonderful evening everyone, and thank you so much to everyone that jumped on live, and hopefully I will meet some of you all at a training soon if you do decide to join us, but you won't regret it. Good night.